Hi, I'm Anne from Game Like a Mother. I specialize in games that can be played in 20 minutes or less, and today I want to talk about a few Marvel-themed games that add more than just the Marvel theme to the game. They've tweaked a few rules, and a lot of people prefer these versions of the game, not just because they like Marvel, but because the rules are different and maybe better than the original version of the game. The first and very popular example of this is Splendor, the Marvel version of Splendor, which I know is not a 20-minute game, but everybody plays Splendor, and so we do too. In the Marvel version, first of all, it's perfectly on theme where in Splendor, you're you're collecting precious stones and gems, and it's an engine building game in which you are collecting these cards with the gems that you're getting, and then you're able to purchase bigger and more expensive cards with them, and you're trying to be the first to get to a certain point total or have the most points at the end of the game. In the Marvel version, you're collecting Infinity Stones, and they've tweaked a few things. You have to get the third level of cards. You have to get at least one in order to be able to win the game. You have to have a green Infinity Stone and to have one of each color of stone by the end of the game and have completed the Infinity Gauntlet in order to win. They've changed it so there's an Avengers Assemble tile, and there's some Avengers symbols on some of the cards, and whoever has the most of those gets the tile, and it can move around during the game. Unlike in Standard Splendor, where there's the noble tiles, and if you get one, then it's yours for forever. In the Marvel version, there's this one tile that can move around, and 3 points more or less can be quite the difference at the end of a game of Splendor. So there are just a few minimal tweaks. It's still the same core game, but it affects end of game scoring considerably. So depending on how you play the game or what kind of strategy you want to use, it can really impact how you play and your game experience. We like all the versions of Splendor, so just pick whichever one you like and go with that. Another game that has a lot of different versions of it out there is Love Letter. And Love Letter is a delightful game in which you are trying to backstab, play other cards on people to eliminate them from around. So you're either the last person standing or you're the person with the highest value card left at the end of a game. And there are just at the end of a round. And so there are a ton of different versions of this out there. Well, for the Marvel version, they tweaked the rules a little bit. And now it is a team game where you have the Avengers team against Thanos. So it's one person against everybody else. And instead of rounds of play, you play until somebody's life tokens are gone. All of their lives have been eliminated, and depending on your player count, there's different levels. So it's a really fun, it's still Love Letter, but it's team play, and it's so different. And you can either win by eliminating the other one's points, or if you're Thanos and you get all of your Infinity Stones, you've completed the Infinity Gauntlet, and you get to snap your fingers and reveal them and then win, which is the coolest way to win a card game. However, I would say when we've played this, they have a 2-player version. For us, it just seems like Thanos loses a lot. It doesn't work out perfectly, so it's better at higher player counts, kind of like regular Love Letter. But it's just a really fun twist on the rules, and if you have enough people to play it, it is a blast to play, and it plays really well. The other game is Marvel Remix, is a reboot of Fantasy Realms, which is just one of my favorite card games where you have a hand of cards and you're just trying to maximize your points in your hand. And you're dealt out a hand of cards and 3 or more players. There's a 2-player version for Fantasy Realms in which you acquire them in a different way, and it's my favorite way to play. But in a standard game, you're dealt out a hand of cards and you're just draw a card and then discard a card, and you're trying to make it so you have the most points in your hand. Well, in the Marvel version, they've tweaked just a few things, and I don't know which version of the game I personally prefer. I've been playing this with my husband a bit lately, and he definitely prefers the Marvel version because there aren't quite the same swing in points as in Fantasy Realms. In Marvel Remix, it seems like there are smaller swings. You'll get a card that helps your hand, but it doesn't help it by 100 points or something like that, which actually does come up in Fantasy Realms, which is, to me, part of the joy of playing. And in this, they've added a few other elements on the sides of the cards. They have tags that can affect other cards and give you points. And the thing that I think is the most fun about this different version is there are some cards that can transform and basically upgrade if you have the right other cards with you. So you have a Thor Odinson can turn into God of Thunder if you have Mjolnir and 2 or more allies in your hand. And it's worth a few more points, but then you get a lot more tags on the side of the card. And you can turn Bruce Banner into Hulk, Tony Stark into Iron Man, and Jean Grey into Phoenix. So there's just a few of those in there, but it's really fun when you get one in your hand and you're able to make it transform. So it's a base game that I really love, but it's amazing if you get the Marvel theme on there. It just seems like it's more accessible to a lot of people. And then the rules, they've changed them up just a little bit, and that can make a big difference in how the game plays. So we love these ones. You should absolutely check them out. Thank you so much for having me on the show today. You can check out my other content on my YouTube channel and my website. And back to the folks in the studio.